Hi everybody, this is Sarah. Today I thought we would talk about resentment and how resentment can harm a relationship. Everyone experiences frustration and disappointment from time to time in life. That's just the way life is. But when the feelings can become overwhelming or continue on too long, it can be debilitating and it can definitely cause problems in any type of relationship. In today's video, we're going to discuss ways you can avoid becoming resentful and what to do when you notice these feelings. We're going to be specifically talking about romantic relationships and the feeling of resentment that one partner may have towards another. Honestly, it can be hard to put these types of feelings into words. You may know that you're feeling neglected or not getting the respect or appreciation you feel you deserve. This could come from being in a relationship with someone who insists on being right all the time, or feeling put down by criticism, or feeling like you're just not heard or appreciated. You could also have these feelings regarding someone who appears to be receiving special treatment when you work just as hard as they do, but yet they receive recognition and you don't. So there is no one cause of resentment, but many cases involve an underlying sense of being, like I say, mistreated or wronged by another person. Sometimes we look at these situations and we think, how can the person not see that they're being, unfair, that they're playing favorites, or that they're not acknowledging our hard work or our feelings. Other times we wonder, is it something they're doing on purpose, or is it something where, maybe we are taking it out of context? So when these feelings become too overwhelming, they can contribute to resentment. When this happens, relationships can go off the rails. And it's not just romantic relationships. You may have a so-called friend who continues to criticize you or put you down or not validate any of your achievements. And this could leave you feeling very resentful. And also, at work, you may have a coworker who seems to be getting lots of attention that they don't deserve. Or if a sibling is being shown more favor by a parent, feelings of resentment can crop up. For the rest of today's video, we'll touch on resentment in romantic relationships specifically. But if you would like to learn how to handle resentment with siblings, let's say, or coworkers, then let me know in the comments section below and I will work towards getting a video out on those topics. As a person experiencing resentment, we often feel a complex variety of emotions that can include anger, disappointment, bitterness, animosity, and depression. So it's a really unhealthy place to be. Resentment, if left unchecked, can just basically eat away at you and rob you of happiness. It's tough to move forward when you see other people being celebrated while you feel ignored, or when you feel like your partner is not validating you or even considering your feelings. And to make it even worse, the only person who is suffering is you. So what can you do? Well, I have 4 important tips to help you avoid resentment in romantic relationships, or if it's already going on, maybe address them now before it gets any worse. So the first one is, of course, ask instead of assuming. It's easy to assume what is happening, but often that's not the case. We don't have the big picture. We can't see other people's motivations as clearly as maybe we think we can. So often we assume we're right about a situation, and then we quietly make up our minds that people are acting with intention towards us in a certain way. And this is made worse when we attempt to ignore what's bothering us because, hey, it's easier to ignore it and try and brush it off than it is to actually address it. And when we do ignore things, usually we're doing it because we're hoping that it'll go away on its own, or that we'll just forget it, right? But in reality, that doesn't happen very often, does it? Also, there are times when we don't bring up issues because perhaps we're afraid to confront our loved ones, or maybe we just don't want the conflict, period. And that's natural. That's completely natural. But by doing this, you're actually pushing your partner, your friend, your coworker, whoever it may be, away without actually finding out what happened, what their motivation was. Was this just something where they, forgot to include you, or is this something that they actually did purposely with malice? Rather than assuming, ask and then talk it out. And that brings us to 2, be ready to talk it out. Putting blame on others isn't the answer. In fact, most times it just makes things that much worse. Instead, ask questions and talk things out. Don't jump to conclusions, and also use empathy rather than being someone who is accusing. It's really important to watch your tone and your words when you do have this discussion. Use compassion as you do talk through it. And number 3, give each other some space. And this may not sound like something that's really going to help with resentment, but believe me, it will. Because early in your relationship, you probably couldn't imagine going an hour without texting each other, a night without seeing each other. But as your relationship matured, this may not be the case anymore. And spending every waking moment together and relying on your partner for validation or to help you feel better about yourself isn't what a relationship is really about. By giving ourselves some space, our own hobbies, our own things to focus on, we maintain our sense of self. And this allows us to continue growing as a person. And this in turn builds self-esteem. You don't have to do or like everything your partner does. You're allowed to have your own interests, your own hobbies, and spend time doing those things. Also, making time for your interests allows you to come back into the relationship with fresh eyes, and also a sense of anticipation of being with your partner, rather than resenting spending time together. And if you are resenting spending time with your partner, it's time that you address that. Okay, and the 4th or final thing is, of course, don't let things go, because even small things will fester over time. It would be really easy if your partner just apologized to you when they messed up, wouldn't it? Life would be so simple, but it's not always like that. It's normal to have disagreements, big and small. No two people agree on everything. Often I work with couples who are at the breaking point, and when they unpack the list of complaints, both are often surprised. We tend to ignore or try to overlook bad habits, unkind words or actions, especially if we categorize them as small, because we don't think that they're worth talking about. They're not worth making a scene about or having, conflict arise over something small. So we try and push it down and forget it. But unfortunately, that's not what happens. They fester over time, and that little small thing, when you add 2 more things to it or 3 more things to it, continues to grow and get bigger and bigger. So it's important to talk things through and not sit on those feelings, waiting for the perfect moment or waiting for that time your spouse is going to finally get it and understand that, you don't like the way that they're treating you. You and your partner should be the equivalent of your number 1 fan, your supporters. Your partner should be someone that you can lean on, and vice versa. During troubled times as well as good times, you should be there for each other. Remember, you're on the same team. When you're in a relationship that feels more like a constant battle, it's time to examine why you're living this way and make the appropriate changes. No one needs to suffer to prove love. As you can see, communication is key. And while talking and listening requires a bit of vulnerability, which can be difficult at times, I know, especially if you're already harboring feelings of mistrust or resentment, it's the only way to get past this. And there's just no other way around it. Opening up is crucial if you want to heal resentment and build a healthy relationship moving forward. Talk honestly with your partner and ask them to be present. This means no phone, no video game, no TV, or other distraction. And it's important to listen without judgment when it's your turn as well. Both of you need to be attentive to each other. Relationships are tough, and they need work and constant care under the best circumstances. And that was before the pandemic, before the lockdown, before all the unrest and the fear with the economy. So it's even more important now to be clear on where you stand in your relationship. And it's important for both partners to understand the power of words, listening, and honest communication. Resolving issues before they get out of hand is key to avoiding resentment and enjoying a long, happy, and healthy relationship. I hope you found this little mini class helpful. If you did, let me know in the comment section below, and please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to know more, you can visit me at sarahparkerthomas.com for more. Thank you for watching. Speak soon. Bye-bye.